Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I am joined by
Hillary.
Sarah.
Oh, wow.
Sultry.
Oh. Was that your Marilyn Monroe voice?
Yes. Wait.
Yes.
And today our special guest, we are very excited to have actor Arya Mara.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know.
It is I, Lady
Maybe
Majora.
it is. I don't know.
Feminist superhero.
Yes.
Welcome, Arya. We're very happy to have you.
Yay. I'm so honored, y'all. I'm doing an accent.
Excellent. Do as many characters as you want. Okay, so on today's show, we are going to be talking about the film Some Like It Hot. What year? I did zero research as usual. So Sarah, what year did this film come out?
1959.
1959. So we were coasting our way into the 60s when
It was
this film came out.
based on a screenplay from the French film Fanfare of Love.
Oh,
okay.
Oh.
I want to see that.
French.
That sounds awesome.
Yes. Indeed.
Fanfare of Love.
And it's considered to be one of the greatest film comedies of all time. It's like one of those.
Okay.
The American Film Institute
Yes.
deems it so.
I see.
Well, this
Yes.
was one of the, like, when I was a kid, like, my mom would make us watch, like, classic movies. Like, once me and my sister got to a certain age, like, once a weekend, you know, like, we got to pick our movie we wanted to watch, and then she would pick a classic. And this was one of them that we watched. And so I've seen this movie, like, 1,000 times.
Okay.
seen
Well,
this a bunch.
okay. So
Yeah.
Hillary's already going there, but
Yeah.
we were going to start with
Sorry,
how.
guys.
No, this is
Get
great.
mad. So
She's
excited.
so thrilled.
Jumping the gun.
I had a whole Coke on my way here.
Oh
Coke
my
Tall
god!
Boy.
A whole,
Okay,
just
sorry.
a whole bag of blow right before you
Giant Tall Boy
Tall Boy
canister
blow.
of blow.
picked it up at the gas station.
I was stuck in a lot of traffic. Very hopped
Yeah,
up.
she stopped in East Atlanta on the way here.
Just all of East Atlanta.
Shout out to
She's
East
got all
Atlanta.
the
Shout
cocaine
out.
in East Atlanta. Did it before she came here.
Ooh, she's gonna be up all night.
All the cocaine in East Atlanta, I don't think would fit in this house. Like,
It's not a big house. That's true.
big
Okay,
house.
so yeah, so
Cocaine aside.
cocaine aside. So let's jump right into what everybody's experience was with the film. So Hillary, it sounds like you kind of went there. Did you have anything else you wanted to add
no,
to
that's
that?
it. That's pretty much it. I've seen
Okay.
it a lot.
So Sarah, your experience with Some Like It Hot.
I haven't seen this a million times. I saw it for the first time, I think, as an adult, but like a young adult. I loved it, and because I love old films, but also this was very we'll get to it. But yeah, I've seen this a bunch.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Um,
Arya.
I guess I've definitely seen this movie many moons ago when I was into more like, you know, classic films, and I definitely at one point endeavored to watch all Marilyn Monroe's films.
Did you get through all of them?
Yeah. This one, as I rewatched it, admittedly today, it had like a different, stronger effect on me just
Okay.
because I do know a little bit more about Marilyn Monroe and, like,
Yeah.
quite frankly, her tragic life,
Yeah.
and short life. She
Point
passed
Norma
away,
Jean.
like, I think like 3 years after this film was made. But
Yeah, it was 62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it was like 3 years after this film was
Years in
released.
general.
I'm definitely a fan of, like, I don't like a lot of modern comedies, and I do like a lot of older comedies.
Except for the ones by Critical Crop Top.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but
like,
she's in all of them,
just
so
checking.
she's biased.
but this one, it didn't tickle me as much as, like,
Oh,
a lot of other movies do. So
I realized after we watched the movie, and I don't want to talk about the ending right now, I want to save it, but I did realize after watching it with Sarah yesterday that I've seen the ending, the last scene,
Okay.
but I had not seen the movie. And in fact, this was my first Marilyn Monroe movie, period.
Really?
I'd never seen a Marilyn Monroe film.
Huh.
Yeah. And I had some expectations for that were different
What were your
when I watched
expectations?
it.
Can you
Well,
tell us?
I want to get into it when we're talking about it, but I definitely felt like I would
Were you
feel a
let
certain way
down?
about her.
Okay.
Well, we can talk about it now. Let's wait until
Okay,
we get
okay.
when I get into it. But when we get to maybe introducing her,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like I had certain expectations for a Marilyn Monroe film or performance, and how I would feel about it that I did not. I did not feel. I felt
Okay.
different things. All right. So that was our experience with Some Like It Hot prior to the podcast. So let's get into talking about the film.
You seem sort of distant. Let's just do it, man.
You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
And Some Like It Hot, 1959. Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Marilyn Monroe,
Yes.
other people involved
Billy
in
Wilder.
it. Billy Wilder,
Yes.
the famous. Well, he produced it. He directed.
He
Also,
directed.
he wrote and
He
directed.
Wrote, directed, produced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So he did all
gotcha.
three of those. Wow, that guy. I mean, come on, let somebody else have a chance.
I know,
You know
right?
what? I mean, you don't
not
have
like
to
we
be
do
control.
that.
You don't have to
Excuse
control
me, he's a
everything.
white male. Let him do what he wants.
That's right. They've had it really hard, Nicole.
It's been a tough slog for them.
It really
over
has.
time, for sure.
This is where it all started to go downhill too.
It's true.
Right before civil rights.
That's
they
true.
They saw a
really-
storm
they
of
were
brewing.
right on top, and then it was all shit from there on.
Yep.
Well,
It's okay. They're
actually-
coming back. They're coming back, guys. Don't worry about it. They'll be okay.
Oh God.
Okay, so let's get right into talking about this movie. Well, did you have a few hot,
I had
hot
one hot-
facts?
I had one hot
We have a
fact.
hot fact, guys.
Okay, so this was produced without approval from the Motion Picture Production Code, the Hays Code.
Well,
which
that
was,
fucinto makes a lot of sense.
yeah, because
we'll
of
get
the-
into that
because of
later.
am I allowed to say cross-dressing and
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of
homosexuality?
that.
I was wondering
But
what
yes,
the Hays
I
Code
guess.
was, and I was like, I wonder if that's what it was.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
basically, this actually was the movie. It was starting to fray at the seams, starting to
The Hays Code.
Yeah, and people are starting to be more tolerant of stuff, and this was the movie because it was so successful that made them be like, let's just stop
I think we
doing
should
that.
let the gays come in officially. They really know what they're doing.
Well, also, I think I don't.
Let's-
well, I
let's-
don't. We don't
let's
have
not,
this
like,
info, but
give them
eventually they
that
did
much of a benefit.
the rating system came shortly after the dissolving of the Hays Code. They decided to go for that
Yeah.
instead and just, I guess, give people like, hey,
Like
maybe you
rated
don't
R for homosexuality.
Right. I guess I hadn't really considered
It
that.
wasn't
but
that they
yes.
were accepting of the homosexuality after this. It was that they were like, well, like
It's okay to make fun of the gays.
it was more like
Right?
let's not be so strict.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you know.
Well, there were some surprising things in here. I will say that it was. I'll hold on to that. But all right. So let's talk. So the two main characters we get introduced to first are Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, and they play
Joe and Jerry.
Joe and Jerry. Okay, because I didn't know their fucking names the whole time. I really
Joe
did
and
not.
Jerry.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Joe
it's
is
Joe
To-
Josephina.
Right.
Jo-
Curtis.
Josephina.
Josephine.
Yeah.
And the other one
Well,
was
And
when
Junior.
we get when we get to the part where they're
And
dressing as
Jerry
women,
was supposed to be Geraldine, but then he went by
Well,
Daphne.
Fucking Daphne is a greater name, a much better name. Anyway, so when we were introduced to them at the beginning, we get to see them in this early scene at the speakeasy. So this takes place in the 1920s when Prohibition was in effect.
Yes.
1929 at
And we
least.
also are
Exact.
in the know that there's a raid at the speakeasy.
Yeah.
At this
Right,
point,
there-
'cause there's
this-
a cop coming in through the front.
A cop who gives no fucks,
Gives no fucks.
straight up poking his cigar with his badge. Like he
know.
does not care about being murdered at all.
Yeah.
But I really did like that element too, because I was like, it's rather subtle. Like no one else in there notices, but then Joe and Jerry are just sitting there and they're like, well, and so they just start packing up.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, so Joe and Jerry are musicians. Joe plays the saxophone. Jerry plays
My
the
favorite instrument.
giant fiddle.
double
Yeah, what-
jazz,
what do they
double
call it?
bass.
Okay, yes, double
But he
jazz,
called
double
it
bass.
something else. He's like the something fiddle or whatever. It was like,
Yeah.
it was a silly name, and I forgot to write it down, but it was V silly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
I don't
You
know.
have to
It's
watch it.
it's a big old bass thing.
It's a big
Yeah.
old bass,
Big old bass
Yeah.
thing. And they're playing in the band at the speakeasy, and,
which is it's it's a speakeasy, and it's
Funeral
the
home.
funeral home is the front,
Right.
And
run
it's
by
mozzarella.
Mr. Mozzarella. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm
And
just
it's-
all about that.
And it's
I'm all about that
owned
name.
by Spats Colombo.
which, by the way, I thought I was super clever and wrote down in my notes. I was giving him the nickname Spats. Turns
Yeah.
out that's just his
That's
fucking
what they
name.
call him.
Name.
That's just, he wears spats.
He
That's
wears-
how we know
yeah,
that
the,
it's
the,
him.
The
He's
shot of him starts with his spats.
His,
Indeed.
he's
And
the
pans up.
only character that wears spats.
It's like when you see a woman in a film normally and they start at her heels and go all the way up her body,
It's
only they
like-
started on the spats.
It's
And then
yes.
end on his like mangled face.
it's like Keys from E.T.
George Raft, right? Is that the actor's name?
don't know.
He's a famous actor. Like I
I-
looked him up and I was like, oh shit, I've heard
I
this
didn't
name.
look him up because honestly, like all of the thugs, I guess, and that like mob gang people.
There were
on
some gnarly faced motherfuckers
there were-
in that
like,
game.
that's- I was just like, where did you find these people in the
Yes.
hospital?
Were you like, oh, there was a fire that burned down a building today. Let's
Gather
just
those fuckers
gather
up
some
and get 'em
people
over
up in
here.
the
This
burn
guy
unit.
just like was almost murdered. His face looks like shit. Let's put him in the movie.
That's what I was commenting to Nicole. I was like, all these men look disgusting, and all the women are like perfect.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
But it takes place in the 1920s. I feel like a lot of women were just perfect.
well, yeah, I mean, they all looked like that, right? That was
Right.
totally
Yeah,
normal.
everyone
Yeah.
looked perfect in the 20s. We
everyone
all
was
just look like
perfect.
shit now because
Oh,
interbreeding.
we're joking, Sarah. We're totally joking. Totally joking. If you can't censor sarcasm, audience. So
There weren't poor people then.
the speakeasy gets busted up. The cops roll in. Somebody, I don't remember the fellow's name, but he eats toothpicks. He was the informant.
Yeah.
His name is Toothpick Charlie.
Oh, is that really his name?
Yeah.
That makes
Man,
sense.
they they are not subtle with the names. They're just like,
No.
give them. They're like, don't make the
Probably 'cause
audience work
all
hard
their
for this.
faces are so mangled. They were just like, I know nobody's gonna look at them long enough to remember who this is. We gotta give them something. Spats and toothpick. That's how they'll
Johnny
remember 'em.
Toothpick. So Johnny Toothpicks was informed on the
Charlie
Toothpick
Toothpick
Charlie.
Charlie.
I like Johnny Toothpick
Let's
better.
honor him correctly.
Let's all take a moment to honor the memory of Joey Toothpick.
It just keeps changing.
Joey Jam Jams.
Joey Jam Jams. So, all right. So the speakeasy gets busted up. Joe and Jerry, who I just kept calling Curtis and Lemon through the whole.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Let's just
I
call
mean,
them
we-
Curtis and Lemon. Curtis and Lemon escape via fire escape, and they are the only ones who don't get busted in this.
Yeah,
room.
like the police aren't even looking at them. They're just like going behind them with their
giant
instruments.
instruments.
And the police are just like, oh, look at these dames. And like they're not even like,
Well, they're not dressed as dames yet.
no. They're paying attention to like the
Oh,
line
dancers.
girls.
The line girls.
They're looking at the line girls.
Did
I don't
you
know
get
if you noticed
goosed by
that.
my dog just
Yes,
now?
yes.
Oh, okay. Jack, behave yourself.
Yeah, so they escape by a fire escape.
And
Which is not the first time they do that.
no, they do that.
Just
They're
scale the side of
they
buildings.
climbed
They're-
out of a lot of windows. I think.
Yeah.
no,
seem
they're
like they're good at
they
that.
could
They're
be-
the poor people.
They could
in
be
this
very
movie.
good at parkour in this modern age.
Oh yeah.
Indeed. Let's remake this, but with like parkour guys.
Oh my god, yes. They're just like little emo kids, like with their hair in their face, like scaling
Hoodies.
walls.
Yes.
Hoodies.
Yes. So, long story short, they are broke. Tony Curtis is a real bad friend, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And he's a
Which one is Tony Curtis?
He's
Which
the one
are
with
they?
the gambling problem.
yeah.
Okay,
Who
so
wants to
he
blow all
is-
their
he's
money.
like he's
He's
like
a ladies'
man.
Jerry.
yeah, and the ladies
Joe.
man.
Joe. Sorry,
Joe.
Joe.
But I
Okay.
feel like the ladies man role is switched once they're on the train. But we'll get to
So
that.
Curtis is Joe. Okay,
Curtis is Joe. Guys, I find myself a little bit sexually attracted
Oh
to
my God.
Tony
Totally.
Curtis.
So much.
Sexually
Oh my God,
attracted.
yes.
It's so
Totally.
much.
And it's his eyelashes.
Yes.
It's
Oh my
the
God, I
eyelashes
love
and the
eyelashes.
lips.
Even with him,
Yes.
like
He's-
dressed as a woman, I was just like, you're an
know.
attractive woman. I mean, I hit that.
I
I
know.
know. Like
I
I'd
would-
see
I
her
would
in a
too.
bar and be like, all right.
I'd be like, I'd
Yeah.
talk to her.
I would,
Okay.
for
I'd
sure.
buy her a
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
That changes a bit for me later, but
Anyways.
at this moment, I did feel that.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're broke. They're having trouble getting a job, their next job, because obviously this job at the speakeasy has ended. So they they get wind of a traveling band that's looking for a bassist and saxophonist. Coincidentally,
I have the name of
but
it.
it's an all-woman band.
It's called Sweet Sue and her Society Syncopators.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But you need to be a chick.
Yeah.
A blonde woman.
You need to be a blonde woman, which there's a little something weird about that later, but I'll
Yeah.
get to that. So they need two women. They don't qualify for this job.
They play the right instruments.
They play the right instruments, but they don't have the right instruments downstairs, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah. Or upstairs.
You don't have the right shape.
Yes.
What
Oh.
shape? What do you want us to be hunchbacks? I'm not worried about your backs or
I
something
love
like that.
I loved how offended they were though when they were told, "You're not the right shape." They're like, I'm just like, women hear that every day.
Okay, I
know.
feel like
Yeah.
this is the first time in history that someone has lost a job because they weren't a woman.
right?
Right?
Yeah.
This is like literally the only
Yeah.
time that's
You're
ever
very
happened.
right. You're very
That's what
right.
this movie's really about. It's a historical documentary.
Indeed. So they did contemplate for a moment dressing like women, or perhaps cutting their genitals
see-
off. I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
It was like
What
It was
It was
like
it was
Jerry's
Lemon's
idea.
character. Yeah, Jerry was just like,
like-
let's do this, and Joe was just like, nah.
Joe was like, no,
I'd
we
never do
Ah,
that.
How am I
Yeah.
gonna pick up the ladies if I'm dressed like a lady?
Yeah.
It happens. It can happen.
Yeah,
But then quickly their minds are changed.
right. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the garage scene.
It was like surprisingly violent.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, let's set it up. So they're trying to get a different job that pays less.
Yeah, like
And
$6.
$6,
A piece.
right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus, that's less than we
And
pay
they have to
people be
travel
in Critical
100
Retail.
miles to
Yeah.
get to the $6 gig.
Yeah.
And so they've
They're borrowing Nellie's car.
Nellie's
Yeah.
car, the
Yeah.
receptionist
Who's one
at
of
the
Joe's
music place.
Ladies.
Yeah.
But $6 back then was probably like 60 or something
No,
like
it's
that.
it's probably like $20.
Went 29.
I don't know. Like who wants to? I don't want to look this up.
Yeah.
But it can't.
Well,
be
in
that
any
much.
case,
That's wild to
it's a
speculate.
shit job, but they need the money because
Yeah.
Joe's got to go blow all their earnings on horse racing
and new overcoats.
and new overcoats because he hawked their coats, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, they go to the sketchiest garage in America.
Yeah.
To pick up
Yeah.
the scene, where there's like
Yes.
legit gamblers already there, like mobsters already there.
Exactly,
Like,
and they're not
having a-
even hidden. They're just like in the middle of the garage. Like,
and it's
what
like
are
the
you
middle
doing
of the
here?
day, and there are like cars right outside.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
maybe
traffic
take it
through traffic.
maybe
just
walk,
pass
you
by.
guys. Like it seems like I would not want to hang out in that garage. So, like, I mean, I know they got to get the car, but geez. Anyway,
Nope.
so there's already some gangsters there. Spats and
And his crew.
and the crazy 88 roll in,
Yeah.
and Billy Toothpicks is there,
Yeah.
You know?
and
Yes.
I like it.
and and they're basically like, you ratted on us. So okay, so they come in, they've got guns drawn. Curtis and Lemon, they hide behind the car.
They're
even
filling up the gas
right,
tank.
they're
Yeah.
filling up the gas tank. Even the guy who runs the garage gets kind of lined up on the wall, right?
Yeah.
So they all get lined up.
Face to the wall. You know.
This is actually, I looked this up. This is based on the real live St. Valentine's Day
Yeah.
Right.
massacre.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it does
this-
take place in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
in
take place in
1929.
Chicago. They reference several streets. The street that my my film school was off of, Wabash,
Oh, wow.
and because I lived in Chicago for a couple years.
Yeah.
And Clark Street, which I believe is where Al Capone was murdered. I believe Al Capone, when he finally got caught by the cops, I believe he
Yeah.
was killed on Clark Street.
I had a
'Cause-
gangster tour while I was in Chicago, but I don't remember what exact street it was. I just remember seeing all these cool places where
Gangster
people died.
tour.
Yeah, they're real big,
Yeah.
those gangster tours in Chicago.
It was
But
pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. I
so
highly recommend
they
it.
line up all these guys in the garage, and they straight up murder these fucking guys. Like fucking murder them. Like it's bloody. It's like
and no one
guns
hears the
blazing.
machine gun shots, even though it's the middle of the day.
And they're like
Yeah.
2 feet away from them. So I feel like the machine guns are a skosh excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
bit.
I'm not a mobster.
But you know, like.
But then, of course, like with a lot of old movies, the actual like the actors were not made up to look as bad as they would have been with all those.
oh yeah, that would have
Oh
been
yeah,
brutal.
for sure.
But
There
still,
were no.
like it was just surprisingly graphic.
It's just a little light murder and a light comedy. Some
Yeah.
light execution style
how
murder.
all comedies start.
Right.
With a
Some
little
execution style murders.
And then Curtis and Lemon drop the fuel pump, and
I think it just falls
It just
out
falls
of the
out
car.
of the
Yeah,
car
okay.
that's filling up
Yeah.
because it's overflowing.
Yeah.
and then they get caught, and then they're like holding their hands up, and how do they escape?
It's what's his face? Toothpick
Carl
Tom-
Toothpicks. Yeah,
Char-
whatever.
Charlie, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like going to reach for the phone.
He's
I guess
reaching
call
for
it-
the phone, that rotary
And he-
phone, which
Yeah.
means it's going to take him at least
Not
10
the
minutes to
rotary phone,
dial.
It's the one where you have to.
Oh, right,
like,
right.
Operator, Wabash, 7654.
Operator, I'm fucking dying here. Get me the
Yeah,
coppers.
It's like, I need a hospital. He reaches for that and he just knocks it over, and that's their like little
Clumsy
getaway.
motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, and then they run.
Thanks to Toothpick Tony.
Yeah.
They got a nice
Get
distraction.
away. Yeah.
And they're out of there. But not before the base gets some bullet holes in it.
Yes.
Yeah. They do fire at them.
Crucial bullet holes.
Crucial plot bullet holes.
Yeah.
And then it becomes one of those
comes back.
little chase scenes.
Yeah, it does come back, but it's just like I wouldn't say it's crucial.
Well, in any case, so they decide the best way to get out of the situation, because now the mob has seen their faces, and they're the
Yes.
only living witnesses to this
Brutal
garage
murder.
massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they decide that they're going to dress up like ladies and pretend to
Take that job.
They're going to take that job.
It goes to Miami.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to get out of town.
Yes.
They're going to dress like ladies.
They
and
don't
they're
have
gonna make a little
overcoats
cash.
anymore. It sounds like a good idea. I mean, like
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
true.
I wouldn't have like shot
don't
this
know.
idea down ever. I would have been like, if I have to cross dress and I get like go down to Miami and get paid to be there.
My question though
I'd
is
do it.
they could not afford to buy new overcoats,
But
but
they
they
get all
could
these
afford
ladies'
to buy all
clothes.
the women's clothing that they
good
needed.
point.
Like
It's a good
like
point.
silk
Fair point.
dresses and like
Gorgeous. Like not bad
beautiful.
outfits
Yeah.
for dudes. Like
Oh,
they had,
They
I
had
don't know.
accessories.
I have
They
a fun
looked
fact
good.
about
They
their
knew how to put on their
costumes.
makeup and do their hair like,
somehow like fake eyelashes
Also,
too.
they can walk better in heels than I can.
Oh,
I'd like
okay.
to point
I was
that
like, I was about to say, I'm
like,
like, what? They were wobbling all over.
Okay, they were running in heels, you guys.
That's true.
I
but
can't
everyone
even
in this
walk
movie runs in
3
heels.
feet in heels.
Yeah.
But actually, Curtis and Lemon. This is some of my little fun facts. Hot facts. They actually refused their initial costumes for this movie.
Really?
And they're like, we want custom-made costumes just like Marilyn has by the same designer. So the person who made Marilyn Monroe's costumes for this film made their costumes because
They
wanted-
look nice.
Yeah, no.
And Marilyn only really wears 2 outfits, and they're both the same dress in different colors.
yes, with like barely,
barely covering her
Okay.
nipples.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get there.
We'll
Get
talk
there.
about that.
I mean,
but that
like,
was
I wa-
shocking.
I want that dress.
I
though.
know. I'm just like, I have some titties right now. I could like totally fill
Yeah.
out a dress like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Anyways, fun. That's my little fact.
Well, I think that was a good decision
Yeah.
on their part because I was really sold on the whole women
was
element.
too,
Like they looked
yeah.
like women. They looked good. The wigs looked good. Okay. A little side note. I think Sarah picked up on this, or I don't remember which one of us picked up on this, but they're all supposed to be blonde, right? On this
Right.
train.
Yeah.
Why is Tony Curtis as a brunette? Why
I
is
don't
that?
know.
Right?
I don't know why Joe's a brunette.
Maybe he didn't look good as
I
a
mean,
blonde.
well,
I don't know.
also, here's another fact about this movie. I know I'm inundating everyone with facts right
No,
now.
I love facts.
It was Marilyn Monroe's contracts are that her films are always filmed in color.
Oh.
But the makeup on Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon,
Did not look good.
it made them look green. So they had to release it in black and white. So you don't know what it might have been like an ash blonde wig that he was wearing.
It might have, because I
And-
always thought that his character was supposed to be a little bit more matronly, and so like that's the vibe I got. Was maybe it's like a dirtier blonde,
But
Yeah.
he is rocking those duck lips.
oh my god,
yes.
he has rusting duck face.
oh my god,
his
it's
commitment
beautiful.
to the duck
When you
lips,
watch him
like
walk away.
constantly,
Yeah. Oh, the little tiny hip swish.
Oh
when he
yeah, I was
walks.
just like,
oh my
he's
god.
more feminine than I am.
was great.
I
owned it,
have a crush
yeah.
on him.
Even
I
as a
think we all
woman,
do.
like I
Yeah.
was like, yes,
I was into it.
I
yeah.
will. I love the duck lips. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would have made out with her at a party
I
for
would
attention.
have for sure, for sure. Even
Hillary.
What?
That's bad.
I know,
so
but it works.
so they're getting on the train.
Can't deny it.
Yes.
While they're getting on the train, we get introduced to Marilyn Monroe for the first
Her
time.
gorgeous overcoat.
Sugar
oh my
cane.
god.
Okay, her name's Sugar Cane, which is fucking ridiculous. That
It
is a
used
nonsense
to be
name.
Pulaski. But I
Sugar
changed it.
Kowalski,
Yeah.
yeah. And she changed
Who
it like
names
her
their kid
stage
Sugar?
name.
Yeah.
Though
Yeah.
that's got to
I
be a
know.
nickname,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Anyway,
It's like baby. I have a feeling.
oh yeah. Anyway, okay.
Her name's probably
Can we
Sandra.
talk about this musical intro? The music that plays every time you see her for the first 30 minutes. I didn't know that was a
my
real
God.
thing that happened in movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I've never seen a Marilyn Monroe movie. This is I thought
Well,
that only
I
happened
mean-
in Looney Tunes cartoons. You guys.
No.
Where did
Looney
they
Tunes
got
had
it
to get it from somewhere.
Wow, 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 wow. It was like
Yeah.
sex is coming. Here she comes, guys.
What
Unzip
else
your
did you
pants.
expect
She
from
looks so good in that.
She
Yeah,
does.
she
that
did.
coat. She I mean, like all the black, like what's that, like gorilla fur or something like
Yeah.
that. Oh man, I'd go slaughter a gorilla and like in a minute to get a coat
Whoa.
like that.
Are we sure that it was 100% gorilla?
I don't know, but I've seen gorilla. I think it's gorilla coats that has like those.
Wait,
long
that's a
black-
real thing?
Yeah,
I'm gonna cry.
I don't
I'm
care.
start
I hate
crying, you guys.
monkeys.
I
of
feel like
all
it was
kinds.
probably mink.
Whoa.
Gorillas are apes.
Whatever.
Actually,
I hate
that's
those
true,
too.
yeah. What did apes do?
I just don't like them. Like, let's just leave it at
You're
that.
an ape.
Okay, all right,
You're
all
an
right.
ape.
I don't.
We're
I
gonna
don't
move
wanna,
on.
I don't want to. I
We're
won't
gonna move
dig
on.
into that. I won't dig
Yeah,
into it.
I'll talk about a lot of
I
things
want to
tonight,
ask
but
you
I
your
won't talk
thoughts on
about that.
evolution later.
About what?
On evolution.
Evolution? Yeah, like we.
So you're cool with us coming from
I'm like
apes,
pretty
but
sure I've got
not-
at least 13% Neanderthal.
Well,
in
we
me.
technically are still in the ape family, so we're technically apes, you guys.
Okay.
does
Did
make
anybody
sense. Kill
else?
your family.
Did anybody else catch that it took less than 5 minutes for like an ejaculation joke?
Wait,
There was
what
like
Wait, where
steam.
was that? Oh,
steam
I didn't see
Oh,
that
right,
that.
shot
her
out.
butt.
The steam
Yeah.
that shot out of the train as she walked past
At
it.
her butt.
And
Yeah.
she was
She's
like,
like,
oh. That's exactly how I am when
Yeah.
ejaculate comes towards me. I'm like, oh.
Oh God! I was like, wow, that did
Oh, put
not
it
take
back.
long. That did not take long, you guys. And then she walks on the train and she says to them, "Hey, ladies, take your corsets off and spread." Was that her? Somebody else
No,
said, "Take
it
your
was
corsets
just
off
done.
and spread out,"
First of all, though, when
which is my new
It was just
catchphrase.
another.
when,
by the way.
when Daphne and
Rando.
Josephine show up, though, and they meet Beanstalk to get onto the train, the
Oh,
leader of the band,
Beanstalk.
Oh, that's
Daphne-
her name.
His name.
Oh, his name.
When,
When-
remember when you got
she
my
was like,
all caps? The
butt tap.
The butt pat.
Yes, she trips.
Wait,
on the
I'm
train.
sorry.
Do you remember
What?
when
Yeah.
Daphne
And he,
trips
like-
on the way into the train? Beanstalk gives her like
A little
long-
bat pat, a couple of them.
Yeah, no, it was like a lot, like at least
Okay.
10 pats on
Can
the
we talk
butt.
about how all the men in this movie are disgusting?
Right.
I've-
Well,
like
she turns
they're-
around.
I've retitled this movie "All the Dudes Are Creeps."
They're
Yeah.
fucking creeps.
All the
Everyone
dudes are
is. They are
creeps.
all fucking creeps. Like, but does the okay? Maybe I don't know if this now is the time to debate this. But does the movie know that all the men are fucking creeps?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Or
I
is
don't
that? Or
think
do they just
so.
think men are like that? I don't understand.
I think
that
that
a
Joe was
satire thing,
I think
or-
Joe was supposed to be the not creepy one, and I think that was how we were
Yeah, but he
supposed
was-
to do it. But he was
He was
just
supposed
as
to be
creepy,
like, yeah, he was supposed to be the suave ladies' man,
right? And I think he was not supposed to be a creep, but everyone else was a fucking creep.
They're
Yeah,
all
every-
creeps, like touching the ladies.
I think
Oh,
this
like,
movie
What
was
is it,
definitely
Osgood
commenting
the
on the fact that men are
we
creeps.
haven't even gotten to Osgood.
Like
but-
I think that
Oh,
because they're dressed up as women, this was a way for them to show this is what it's like to be a woman and get hit on.
And they do
all the
mention
time
that later,
by
too.
men.
Okay, well, I'm
Yeah,
glad
we'll get
somebody
to.
is saying it,
Yeah.
but it was like straight up, like fucking. I was uncomfortable a lot.
Yeah.
with all the
All the creepiness,
very rapey behavior.
Yeah,
I'm just
but-
gonna say it.
yeah.
But also,
It's
like
very
that's
rapey.
how
On the-
men actually
when
were
we get
back
to the
then.
yacht.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I've got so
Anyways.
many notes on this. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So they get on the train, they kind of like settle in, and then they start like practicing. And it is revealed that Marilyn Monroe is the ukulele player.
I know.
I would like to bring that up. The ukulele.
so
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe is
She's
the
also
original
the,
hipster.
the,
vocalist.
the
Yeah.
vocalist.
but she
she's-
plays the fucking ukulele.
She's also boozing it up in the crapper.
Yeah,
Yes.
she is.
So
She's
guys,
got
is
an alcohol problem
Is
in
she
this
an
movie.
alcoholic? Alcoholic? or,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
She's got like she's got the blues, which is depression.
Yeah, or as we like to
and
call
she
it,
treats
depression.
with alcohol.
Okay.
So she's definitely an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you do to
any-
alcoholics? You yell at them and fire them.
Yeah.
I've heard that word.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
apparently
It's the
there's
first
a
step in
strict
AA.
no boozing
Okay.
policy on this in
that
this band.
nobody respects.
no
not
boozing
at
and no
all.
whoring.
No boozing and no whoring.
Ugh, so nice.
There's like sign me up.
I don't know what I would do.
No. What I'm saying is that
be
that's
so
such a
bored.
like a crass way of saying it. No booze and no whoring.
Wait,
Like,
That's
but
not
did they
their
s-
language.
they
That's
didn't
mine.
say that, right?
They didn't
Oh,
say that.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that was
those are
just-
my words.
That was just what I said.
Yeah, that would be Hillary's crass talk.
okay.
But yeah,
New
so
podcast, Hillary's Cross Talk.
Hillary's crest talk.
You can
starring
probably just
Hillary.
pull excerpts from this.
Yeah. So they're practicing. She has admitted very quickly to, is it both of them or just, because I feel like she cozies
Both
up
of them
to,
because he
to
had
Lemon
because
first.
Joe had to go in with Jerry to
Right,
fix Jerry's
to-
tits.
To fix his tits, yes, that's
Yeah.
right. He had ripped his tits off.
He ripped his tits
Actually,
off.
the other guy had ripped them off.
Yeah, Joe ripped Jerry's tits off. And
But that's
so-
because Jerry was being a lech, and he was just like, "Stop it, dude!"
Yeah, he's
we
like,
have to
yeah,
pass as
it's like,
ladies."
we literally just got in.
Okay,
and you're about to blow it.
Jerry's
Yeah.
male gaze is out of the fuck control.
Oh,
like
yeah.
out the fuck.
Yeah.
He is. I can't
He's
even
disgusting.
speak. It's
He's
so
a slug.
he really like, and the
Right.
the camera. Like, okay, let's talk about this rehearsal scene because Marilyn Monroe sings for the first time.
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
The camera spends more time behind her,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at her ass.
Yeah.
Which I assume is from the POV of
I think it's supposed to be Jerry.
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 Yeah.
Than from the front. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I get it. We don't have to keep looking at her butt
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And then her flask falls out of her.
Her flask
stocking.
falls out of her stocking, and she almost gets kicked off the train.
But
Jerry-
Jerry takes the blame.
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
her knight in shining armor.
Yeah. Well, and that's when Sweet Sue reiterates too that like my girls are not allowed to drink or be around men.
Right.
And that's when he says, yeah, men are all big hairy beasts with 8 hands. They all want the same thing. And then Beanstalk goes, hey. And I was
Yeah,
like,
he's
you
all
basically
offended.
just not all men.
I have that
this
exact
moment.
same note.
Beanstalk was
Where
like,
he's-
hashtag not all men.
He was like, not all men. I only have 1 hand.
But
And you
isn't-
felt it on your ass earlier.
But isn't that great that like this was written by 2 men? It was written by Billy Wilder, and his partner, but like that a man like in 1959 was like, men are pigs. Like this is
Yeah.
this is how it is.
But I don't know what the antidote to that is. I think that's what makes this movie like I like that they're addressing it, but it's also like it seems to be like something you have to put up with.
Yeah, they're
ladies.
like,
Yeah.
isn't it funny how disgusting men are?
Exactly.
I'm not saying.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
just I just feel like it's a good time to bring that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So let's go to Florida.
Okay.
So they arrive in Florida,
And they get off the bus.
where their gig is. They get off at the bus. First things first.
a whole
Daph-
bunch of lecherous millionaires sitting
Oh
outside.
my
Gross.
god, those dudes! It was like the
Oh my
grossest
God,
thing
that's
I've
like
ever
my
seen.
dream. I would just be like squeezing in front of all of those little lawn chairs, like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm just trying
It was
to get
like-
down to this one on the end. Oh,
It was
sorry,
like
excuse me,
the
it's
entire
your
male
name."
gaze sitting in lawn chairs,
Yeah,
just
but they're
waiting
all
for
rich.
that
They
bus
were
to
all
arrive.
old. They were all white. They were all men. They were all disgusting.
Ooh, super gross.
Well,
Super creepy.
First of all, Jack Lemmon, as Daphne, of course, gets into the elevator, immediately groped
Yeah.
Yeah.
by
oh,
this new character we're introduced
Osgood
to.
the third.
Osgood Fielding the third.
Thank
When
you.
when he
So
introduced him,
creepy, you
so
guys.
Dude,
Daphne
he
tripped.
calls himself Naughty Boy.
Also, he's like, shut this elevator door. We're going to go up and down like 400 times so I can just really have my way with this lady.
While there's like an elevator operator in there with them.
I mean, repeatedly in this movie, there's this like thing where a man does something that I feel like today would be perceived as like assault-ish. And then we're supposed to like just accept this person as a likable, jovial character. And I feel like this guy is for sure like the best example of that. What is his name? Osgood. Like we're introduced to him as being this gropey, gross,
Are
guy.
we supposed to believe that he's like this likable character? I feel like he's like one of the conflicts of the film.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to like him later in the film. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I definitely feel like my feelings about Osgood fluctuate, but not very much. Even later on in the
I feel
film,
like he's
I
supposed
feel
to be
like
the
he's
comedic
an
relief.
obstacle. No, the two men are definitely the comedic
That
relief.
laugh though, that's like he's like the ridiculous.
He's
a
very
ridiculous.
But I feel like
He's
he's
very
an
ridiculous.
obstacle. Like he's standing in the way.
Oh
I
no,
agree, yeah.
he actually is. Well, he's in a way he's kind of a convenient plot point because they use a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But like he's actually like a thing that helps them at various points.
yeah,
Because of his boat.
Yeah, I mean, just because of his boat, because of his wealth.
But what I'm
Because of
saying
his
is,
boat,
I don't
because of
think
his
he's
bracelet.
supposed to be this. I think he's supposed to be like he's a divide. Like he is useful to the plot. He's not a likable someone. We're supposed to be like, oh, this is a
I
Not
think we are
not
supposed
for
to like
us,
him.
but I feel like he's supposed to be like. I mean, Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis are comedic characters, but they are the leads. They are not comic relief.
yeah,
This guy is the comic relief. He's
Yeah,
this
he's like a
foolish,
bit character.
He's a character actor doing comedic bits.
yeah.
Yes.
And I think we are supposed to think he's funny. And it's like, oh, men, they're just like that. They'll pinch your butt in an elevator. I think that's
It's
what
like-
we're supposed
it's
to
like,
think.
Oh, that old dog! Look at what he's saying.
Exactly. He's been married
It's
so
just-
many times he doesn't even know how many times he's been married. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to this. Okay,
Back
so
to this movie.
Where
this
were we?
tiny little boy, the bellboy, is
Oh.
also hitting on Josephine at
Yes.
the same
I
moment.
love
And
how
a
they
creep.
cast-
And he's basically like, I'll be back later because I have keys to your room.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
Exactly.
fucking serial
I'm
killer.
so terrified, but also this guy's like literally half her size. So
And,
I
like,
love
probably
that.
Those
12
he
years
looks
old.
really stabby, that guy.
They
like he
cast
would stab
the
you.
smallest man ever in this.
Like he
role.
looks like a person
He's
you'd
probably
wake
a
up
little
and he'd just be
Italian guy.
standing above you
I'll be real
looking
with
at
you.
you and like
Like you would
Just go
wake
back
up
to
and
sleep,
he would wake
baby.
up and he would just be there.
Masturbating.
He had a high pitched voice too.
I know. I just had to take it but one step further.
Well,
but
so this is the scene where Daphne comes back into the room and is like, I just got pinched in the butt, and this other guy was like, well, some guy just told me he's gonna break in here and rape me, and
they're like, men, am I
well,
right?
Right, but then that's where Joe says,
Do you have-
like that's how the other half lives.
Yeah.
okay. So I
love
like.
that.
You and I think have the same
Yeah.
note again. And he's like, just because you're wearing a skirt, it's like waving a red flag.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. I feel like the movie is not like, isn't this awful, you guys? It's like, yeah, but it's just the
Yeah.
way
like-
it is.
Yes,
It's like they tried
It's
really
commenting on
hard,
that, but it's
though.
not like commiserating with
Hey,
women.
we should do
Right.
something about that. It's like,
I know,
Yeah.
but this
No,
is
it's such a
big even for
hypocritical-
back then.
yeah.
Even to point out that it exists is
but
like
I have to
huge.
wonder if it's like you could use this to justify the repression of women's sexuality. Like women have to be chaste because otherwise this is what happens to them.
Yep.
yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Meanwhile, the sexual predator from the rich sexual predator with the yacht calls
Yes.
From ship to shore, right?
from ship to shore.
What an apt description.
He wants to speak to Daphne. So here's the plan that they concoct. First of all, I don't know why Jack Lemmon's character goes along with this at all.
Well, there's a line where he goes, "I don't know why I do this," and he's like, "Cause we're friends," and that's
But there's
the end of it.
He's the
It's not good enough
shittiest
for me.
friend.
Yeah.
So here's the plan they concoct. Daphne is going to go on a date with Osgood.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Joe, dressed as Junior, is going to take Sugar onto the yacht. So they're going to steal the yacht. They're going to party on the yacht. He's going to make the moves on her. And
Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Jerry
he makes those moves.
Well, Jerry's just going to let Osgood take him out for the night and grope him, I guess, just as long as possible.
Take him to a place
Yeah.
where they're like, but I think like the reason like Jerry's like okay with this plan, he sort of like rationalizes it. It's like he's like, at least I'm not going to be alone on a yacht with him. But he
or
has
just
to
don't
stay
go-
ashore.
or
He
do-
has for this
or-
plan to
or
work.
Don't go at all. Like, why are you friends
Yeah.
with this guy?
Yeah,
I
What
would
a
honestly
fucking
probably at this point just be like, hey,
wanker this
Joe,
guy
I really
is.
don't want to lose this job. Why don't we just chill out on the trying to put our penis in things and just
wait,
focus on making
which
the
one
money?
Of them
Also,
was the
there-
one who said though when they got there, like, hey, we got here. Let's leave. And
Right,
the
they
other-
were
it
supposed to leave.
So
it was
somebody,
well, but they
somebody
need
was
the
Jerry.
money too.
Yeah, somebody.
They need the money.
Which
though.
one brought that?
Jerry.
Jerry brought
Jerry,
up the point.
one
that-
who came up with the plan, was like, okay, now let's go. And
and then Joe
was
said,
like,
"No, we need
it's
the
a
money."
paycheck. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah. This happened like a little bit earlier
When they first arrived
Yeah.
in the hotel
Yeah.
room, before they start talking about like that's how the other half lives.
Jerry
they talk
wanted to
about
leave, but Joe
leaving.
wants to stay because he's trying to put the moves on Marilyn.
Yeah, and also his rationalization of it is like get money.
Well, they do need the money, but because he needs to blow it on horse races.
dog races actually.
Is it dog?
Dog-
That's even
dog racing.
worse.
It's
Oh
dog
yeah, because
racing.
remember, like he's like he
Oh,
knows the
dog
guy
races,
who's the cousin
people don't
who
do it.
operates
Don't
the
do
rabbit.
it. Don't do the dog races. Just
know.
don't. Just don't do it.
I know.
It's awful.
Hey, horses are just as bad.
I
Yeah,
know.
horses
You're right.
are probably worse.
Well, and the jockeys too are also very abused as well for a human element. Kind of all around a bad sport.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, first we've got this Marilyn Monroe song.
Yes.
Yes, and I want to wear that dress. God, I wish.
Just you, nobody else but you. Okay, can somebody explain to me what the fuck is going on in the 1950s? Because we can't have like on TV, we can't have a married couple
Sleep in the same bed.
sleep in the same bed, but we can have Marilyn Monroe sing a song in a dress that's basically fucking pasties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I was like boobs,
yes.
Yeah.
boobs,
Boobs.
Like, but I also just wish I could do that, you know, and just like barely have something cover
But
them.
like
also
her
it would be, like,
boobs
all the
were
way down to
just.
my belly
I
button.
mean,
My whole
Same.
top half would
Same.
just be.
I could not wear
Mesh.
that to a restaurant around here. I would get kicked out probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
wear that.
I don't
anywhere.
understand the 1950s. Can somebody explain it to me? Can somebody explain
Did
the 1950s
you like? I mean,
to
even
me?
just like,
Doesn't
have
make
you
sense
seen
to
her
me.
dress for what she wore to sing "Happy Birthday" to JFK? I mean,
I mean,
she
look,
was sewed
I'm not,
into it.
I'm not saying it's not okay for people to wear that. I'm just saying like this is supposed to be. This is the sexually
know you're
repressed
like
culture.
Conservative time.
and not just the 1950s when this was made, but like this is set in the 1920s.
Yeah.
Well, I think this 1920s was a period of touch more sexual. Like there was a touch of sexual liberation going on.
Yeah, okay.
but they
I
would
see what
not
you're
have worn a dress like that in the
No.
1920s because being flat chested was
the
ideal.
Which she does like make she does make a point of mentioning. She's like, oh, I wish I was flat chested like you when they're when they were in the ocean.
Yeah.
Clothes just hang on you better.
So, shall we talk about these dates? The dates.
Yes.
The dates.
The dates.
Yes.
So, Marilyn Monroe goes jogging down the dock wearing
How?
her very tiny dress.
In
and
heels,
a mink.
no bra,
And a mink
in that
stole.
little mesh dress.
I
How?
know.
Boobies a flopping.
How? Ow.
I wish I could wear a mesh
Are
dress.
they flopping though?
I want to wear a
No,
mesh
No, you're right.
dress.
They were actually pretty stationary.
Yeah,
It was like they defied gravity. You're
Yeah,
right.
somehow.
Yeah. Somebody like described her tits as like granite or something like that. I'm like, is that a good thing?
She works out.
She works her titties out. I don't
So,
know.
so they get in the
she's
tiny
going on
rowboat.
her, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It only
it
goes
was a motorboat.
a motorboat.
Because,
It
It only goes in reverse.
It only went in reverse.
Speaking of motorboating, am I right? Okay, so they get in the motorboat. He can't figure out how to work it.
So they
No.
just back it up.
So they just back that motorboat up.
Yeah.
yacht.
They
Because it's an
motorboat
experimental
together.
new boat that
Right.
he's gonna have to send back.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I noticed they forgot to button the back of her dress. Did anybody
it's-
notice
no,
that?
it, there were no
it's that
buttons.
low.
There were
It's
no
just-
buttons.
it's
It's
just
just that
flopping
low.
around.
V-low.
There was
It's
at the
V-low.
very
It's
top
just
of it.
flopping
You
around.
could kind of see there was a little like clear strap at the top of it to hold it on her. But it was
There were
like
no buttons.
But it was
really
meant
subtle.
yeah, it was all
It was
open
It
back.
looked like
open.
it looked like me trying to wear a dress that I used to wear before I had babies.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
Or like when you're running
Yeah.
around and you're like, can someone please just zip me? You know, that's what it looked like. But no, there was like a tiny little clear strap at the top that you couldn't
It was
see.
supposed to be
well,
all
anyway,
back.
she's really putting it on real thick for
Mm-hmm.
the millionaire guy as they're, like, I
Would
feel
you behave
so
differently?
I feel so sad.
I don't know. I think
feel
I'd
so sad.
I would be meaner to a millionaire, honestly.
I have been, and it worked out well.
You're the one negging.
I got into
There
the
we
VIP
go.
section of a club and got bottle service all night. It was lovely.
Oh.
Worked out for
Okay.
me.
Well, let's talk about Marilyn's bottle
Well,
service.
She makes a different choice.
Yeah,
So
she
they're
does.
on the yacht. They're drinking some
The
champagne.
favorite thing that she says, though, in this that I
Yeah.
have is, I've never been alone with a man on a boat.
No.
In
the
middle
night-
of
I
it.
know, that was
And
great.
it was
She's
just
like-
like
that
she
was great.
pauses after each bit
Yeah,
of it.
she's like in the middle of the night on a boat.
And I was
that
just
was
like,
great.
on a boat
Yeah.
in this ocean.
Eating salami.
She's like, I've done all the
Drinking
others.
this brand of champaign.
drinking
Wearing
cold
this
duck
dress.
in May. So basically, they're drinking champagne. They're eating cranberries or
I
something.
don't know.
Yeah.
He
know.
convinces her that, and this is how you this is how you like seduce someone into doing something to you, so you can then be like,
can
I
say
didn't
they-
do
yeah.
anything.
I
It was
didn't- it
all
wasn't
her."
my idea.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like she was seducing me. It's like he like
Okay,
the way he's
seduction
describing
scene is
himself.
so disturbing.
Yes.
like he's basically like, I have a mean
No,
case of
this-
lipstick, and I cannot love again because
"I'll
Yeah,
fix
my
it."
ex girlfriend died. Because what happens?
I don't even know.
There's
I
like a
couldn't
death-
understand it.
I don't
but it's
know.
also,
It was
it's
very
like,
convoluted.
It didn't sound like he couldn't love again. It's like that made me asexual. That's like literally what it sounded like.
Like,
to me.
now
It's
my
like, it's
peen
like,
doesn't work, and they
yeah,
haven't
he's just like
invented a blue
I'm not
pill
attracted
yet.
to anything anymore. Not even watching a racehorse get shot on the field gets me off. I don't know what rich people get off to.
his parents got him all kinds of various different hookers to try to solve this problem.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
what
That-
Nicole
no,
said
like,
was,
I think-
well, perhaps you're gay.
I know, it's
'cause
like,
he didn't
maybe you
say
don't
any-
like chicks.
He didn't say anything about not liking men. He just said,
That's
I
true.
don't like.
Yeah, it's like they like
women.
it's sent up like a French maid or something like that. He's like he talked about that or something. And I'm like,
I'm just saying, if I was on a date with this guy and he was like, I'm not attracted to women, I'd be like, cool, let's be friends.
To me, this whole
Right?
scene actually, and when you say the gay thing, now I remember this reminds me of Marjorie and Renly in Game of Thrones when they get married, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Do you want me to bring my brother in?" Like, and she's just like, "Anything to get you hard, put a baby in me."
Yeah.
And like that's what this kind of reminds me of. It's literally like,
Well, and
Let's
then she,
just
like,
keep
throws
trying.
herself at him, and then like is like, let me try it, let me try again, let me try again, let me try it for fifth time.
And he keeps saying like, nope, I
nope,
feel
yep.
completely cold down there. It's like I've got a vortex between my legs.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, like my like I made like one note about this in particular, but it was sickening for me.
Yeah.
It was
To-
super
to,
manipulative.
Like, yeah, because like not only it was manipulative, but like, you know, it was sad to see like a woman so driven to change a man.
But was it more
I
like
hate-
she wanted the millionaire? Like I couldn't
Yeah,
decide
that she
if
wanted
she
the
was in on the
millionaire.
joke or not.
Yeah,
I
she
couldn't
wanted the
decide.
millions, but like I just in any
upset
in
me.
Did she
any
want
regard,
the money,
it-
or did she just want to sleep with him, or did
I
she
think she
want?
wanted the money. I think she
she
was like,
wants the
I want
money.
this
She wants
man
the
to marry
millionaire.
me and I
She-
want
yeah,
the
I
I
millions.
think she wanted to be loved.
Yeah, I think
I think
that
to be loved by you.
I
Well,
think
I
she wanted
feel
to be
like-
loved by a millionaire specifically.
well,
Yeah.
I can
I
see why
don't-
you would say
yeah.
that, but I think a few scenes later it is clear that she actually seemed to have feelings for this person.
Yeah, but like
yeah.
I don't like it when women try and change a man, and because it's
Well, she just
you
fell
can't
right into
you
the
can't
trap.
change a person, and no,
Stop it. That's my whole life goal.
To change. A
you can't change a person.
Mainly
Hillary.
Christo into
Um,
loving me.
You're gonna.
No.
It's never
My
gonna
concern,
happen.
my concern
Put in
meter
8
for
years
Hillary
of
just
work.
like went up another
Look.
10%.
I vacillated between feeling like she was also using him, but then thinking like it reminded me of this article that we were passing around a while back, the woke feminist in sheep's clothing,
Yes.
which was all about women needing to beware of men who act like they're feminists, but then once they get you alone, they're like
They're
fucking
the
sexual
worst.
predators, and they're
Yeah.
like helping you get your guard down by saying things like, you know, consent is sexy and women should have equal pay or whatever the fuck the buzzword is. But like there's this whole group of men who've realized that, oh, if I act like a feminist, they'll put their
I'm gonna
guard down.
get lots of
Yeah.
puss.
Yeah.
But more than that, like they'll let their guard down.
Yeah.
Like a woman who ordinarily wouldn't go home with me will go home with me, and at that point I can
Because they think we share the same ideals.
Yeah. they'll feel safe around me. Which
that's
is basically what he's doing.
disgusting.
He's making her feel like he's not a threat
Right.
Yeah.
because
like-
he's acting like he's not even attracted to women.
Yeah,
which
of
is
all
the creepiest
gross,
thing about
of
it.
all
to
the
me.
gross things in this movie, their date on the yacht is
Yeah.
the thing that
It's
made
so
me the
creepy.
most
Very
uncomfortable. It was
so
like-
disturbing.
it was incredibly disturbing, and like for like AFI's #1 comedy of all time,
rapey as fuck.
rapey as fuck. Yes.
So I would like to bring up the other thing that I found disturbing about this, which was that he was eating chicken the whole time. So every time she kissed him, I was like, he fucking has chicken in his mouth.
She was
right now.
just hungry.
Apparently,
She
He's
wasn't
got
eating
chicken
any of that
in his
chicken.
mouth. It's not sanitary.
So fun fact.
Sometimes when you're hungry, you do
He
anything you
got
can.
so sick of eating chicken because he had to kiss Marilyn Monroe so many times, you know, for the takes of this
Oh,
scene
God. I feel
that he
what a
couldn't
poor
eat
guy.
chicken for years afterwards.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't know if
man.
I can eat chicken again after watching
But
this.
did
I don't-
frankly.
I actually just
when
want to
this was
eat chicken
happening-
and be made out
When
with.
I
at
was
this
seeing
point.
the scene, I was like,
That
wow,
sounds awesome.
Tony Curtis
Got a-
must feel
you've got a
so
chicken
lucky
fetish.
to have Marilyn Monroe make out with him.
Hey,
Yeah, no,
some good chicken wings.
He
some good
joked.
making out.
He joked that when people asked him like, "How was it kissing Marilyn Monroe?" He's like, "It was
Tastes like
kissing
chicken."
Hitler."
Oh God!
Yes.
What is
Why? I don't know.
Also, what does Hitler did it
Like-
feel like she had a mustache?
I don't know
Like,
what he was alluding to. I have
Did she
no idea what he was
scream at him
alluding
in
to.
German
Let's
after?
call Tony Curtis up right now if he hasn't already.
Oh my
passed
god,
away.
that's
Tony,
so
what's
sad.
up?
Oh my lord. Sorry, it's all good.
It was like
Your baby okay?
kissing someone
no,
who
no.
was capable of genocide.
Yeah,
I don't really understand the comparison.
I feel like I've done that.
kissing someone who has a foreign.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think he was kind of just being like, "Fuck you, I kissed her." You know,
Tasted
like
like
as-
strudel.
I'd like to know more about this though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like maybe it was just kind of like shutting it down because he probably got that question all the goddamn time. Think about it. If you were, you know, a male lead who got to kiss Marilyn Monroe back in the 50s, people are probably like, "So how was it?" all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's probably just like
It's-
shutting it down. It's like it was like kissing Hitler, and like nobody wants to know what kissing Hitler's like.
They're like, okay, well,
I
we're
do.
Except for
moving
me.
on.
Except
Like,
for
what the fuck does
except
that
for
mean?
Nicole, we found the one person
does
who
that
wants
mean?
who wants a follow up.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It was a fun fact. It's not a fun description.
kissing someone with a micro penis.
Is that a thing? Did Hitler have
Yes.
micropenis?
Yes.
That makes
Supposedly.
sense.
Who cares if it's not true? Hitler had a micro penis.
Donald Trump has
You
a
know who else
micro
had-
penis.
you know who else
I'm going to
had
make that a fact.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump has like the
Who else had
micro
one?
You know who
penis.
else had a super tiny penis? The East Side Strangler, because I listen to lots of murder podcasts. East Side Strangler. Anyway, not on this podcast. Okay, so
right.
meanwhile,
So,
on another date,
Jerry's date.
Jerry's questioning all of his life choices.
They're weirdly tangoing in front of a blindfolded band.
They're tangoing in front of what seems to be a mariachi band.
Yeah, No, it's a
Yes.
Cuban band, remember?
okay,
They
okay.
mentioned it was a Cuban band.
Because they were dressed like a mariachi band.
They're just like a Cubano
Oh,
band.
okay.
They're in
Okay.
Miami.
All right, all right, all right.
I think
But
I
they were
missed
also
his-
doing the tango, which I don't think is Cuban.
It's Argentinian, is it?
Yeah, I want to say
It's some sort of Latin American
But
country.
if you
Yeah.
were dancing to a Cuban band, wouldn't you be dancing something more like a salsa kind of
I
situation?
don't know what you would dance in Cuba.
I don't
because
know
we've
how
not
to
been allowed
dance.
to go
Don't
there for
ask me
so
any
long.
questions about
I
dance.
don't know.
Like a meringue, like a pachanga or a merengue?
We're probably
A merengue, I'm pretty
super
sure, is a
racist right now.
dessert.
A lemon meringue?
A lemon merengue pie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we see them dancing a tango. We cut quickly back to Marilyn and Tony Curtis.
They're getting off the boat.
Yeah.
And driving backwards back to shore.
Yeah.
After having some, I wrote. Yeah, Hillary's pointing at my.
What are you- I
It's
I
just
just
a giant note.
I wrote in very large letters "fuck the patriarchy" because I
takes up
just
a
felt
little
like
portion of the
so
page.
gross after this date because
was
they
Yeah.
like
gross.
stay there all night. They've obviously
like
had like some
dawn.
really untruthful sex.
Yeah.
Did they
he
have
was like,
sex,
"Well, my
though?
dick is
Did
hard
they,
for
or
the
did they
first
just,
time."
or
Yeah.
did they just
make
neck?
out? Did they just smush mouths together?
No, I think they fucked.
Yeah,
really?
that was
They
a
fucked.
definite. Definite
that makes
for
me
sure.
feel even worse.
I know.
And then she runs back inside and just traipses her white furs all over the ground as she walks in. I was like, "Girl, pick that up.
She's about to marry a millionaire. She's gonna have like 50,000 white furs.
Pick it up. It's white."
Okay, let's
All right.
not do that. Okay,
All right, all right.
gonna
So
dog me.
basically, though, let's not forget.
Daphne comes home.
Well,
she's-
there are fucking mobsters in this movie.
Yes.
if you guys didn't know.
yes,
and they're having a mobster convention.
called Friends of Italian Opera.
That was great. I love that. That was great.
was such a great name.
They might as well have been Friends of Meatballs.
Yes, I know. It's like
A bunch of Guidos in one room.
It's not a great cover either.
No.
Which was
like
the point. I think
It's like who's gonna be
Also, I feel like
a fan of Italian opera other than mobsters?
I also feel like the
Italian
Godfather
mobsters.
ripped off that scene where they're all having dinner.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the Godfather ripped that off
Oh, yeah.
and then like made it 100% better.
Well, okay. So, of all the hotels in all the cities and states in America, the mobsters are having their convention here. There's a big meeting, I guess. It's a big mob meeting.
Yeah.
There's some friction in the family.
Oh yeah.
And they're at the same
Especially with
hotel.
The shit that happened in Chicago.
Right.
Because,
the massacre in the garage.
Marty Toothpicks was murdered.
Right. Marty Toothpicks was murdered. And the guy, bald guy with hearing aid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that a hearing aid?
Yes, it was a
Yes.
hearing aid.
Okay, because I was trying to figure out what the hell
A
that
hearing
was.
aid that he
I was
didn't
like,
know how to work because he
it-
just kept turning the volume up and down like it was a rave.
It was like it just looked like an old school, like Britney Spears, like circa the '90s headset.
Where he was
You
gonna
know,
be like,
it's like
oh baby, baby.
Yeah, I was-
like in the
I was
middle
like-
of it.
I was like, isn't this supposed to be a secret meeting? I thought it was like maybe a
Like he was
Like
wearing his own wiretap.
no,
like he
I
was
thought
getting football stats in one
he's,
ear
like,
while he
on
was hosting the
speakers
meeting.
in that room or something. Like you know, I'm the big boss. I'm on speaker. So I was like, I was like, why would he want to do this? Aren't they trying to be covert?
I had to wonder if it was an acting choice, like the guy who was badly flipping the coin over and over again. Like
Yeah.
that he was just like, "Hey, Billy Wilder, I'm gonna wear a hearing aid. That's my character. I wear a hearing aid."
They were just trying to bring some light onto the Americans with disabilities, hearing disabilities,
and the other
and
guy
the
is like,
gays.
and the other
They
guy
really
is
were touching on all of it here: treatment against women, gays, people with hearing disabilities. Like really,
people
it's
who
got it
can't
all.
flip coins properly.
Yeah.
I was like,
People
you
who
need
just
to stop
toss
with
coins
that.
in the air
Just
and think
stop
they're
with that.
flipping it.
Right. So anyway, mobsters are there. They're at the same hotel as Joe and Jerry.
Coincidentally.
Coincidentally. They spot them.
Yeah.
And they decide Jerry and Joe, so Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, they spot the mobsters and they decide to get the fuck out of town.
Yeah.
So they pack their bags. They they decide they're going to keep that bracelet from Osgood and they're going to use it to buy themselves a ticket somewhere or
Yeah,
something.
just-
Because they're not going to
just get
get the
the
money
fuck
from
out.
the band. They're going to get the
Right.
fuck out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tony Curtis decides to call Marilyn Monroe and break up with her as
Oh.
Junior.
Yeah. With
And-
that
My
terrible-
heart broke for her.
A very
impression.
sad scene.
Yeah.
It was sad. She was like, I actually felt like she did a good job in that scene.
Yeah, that's where she brought it, and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's really hard to separate what we know about her life from this movie.
Yeah.
Because there
I
seemed to
had
be
that
a lot
problem.
of similarities, and it really contributed to my overall sadness about this character. But she's basically like very accepting of the fact that what he tells her is, "Hey, babe, I'm leaving. I'm never coming back again, and I'm sorry, but I can't marry you because I'm being married off to some oil tycoon's kid."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, that sounds great. Good for you."
She's like, "Oh, I understand."
It's a merger of the pants. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she's very upset. She immediately begins drinking again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which involves going into Joe and Jerry's room,
Yeah.
or Daphne and Josephine's room,
Yeah.
and another, like I mentioned earlier, one of the, like she had like Marilyn Monroe had like lines, like one-liners that she could not remember, and one of them was now where's that bourbon, when she goes into their room. And that kind of like thinking like that they had to do like 60 takes of her trying to say where's that bourbon in like such an emotional scene.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, she seemed very like believably upset.
Yeah.
And just like
And I won't lie, that's part of the
depressed.
reason why people tell you not to use effective memory when you act.
Yeah.
Is because of stuff like that where you have
Yeah,
to stay
you're just
in it.
wrapped
and
up
it's
in
just
that
like you're
shit.
thinking about your dead grandma for like 2 days straight.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it actually
Fuck
fucks with your
that.
brain.
So
Yeah.
Fuck a bunch of that.
But that's
It-
what I
it-
use on stage, so because that's what
No.
I was trained in with
Oh,
Strasbourg.
yeah.
Fuck a bunch of that.
No, fuck a bunch of that.
No, it's stupid. It's stupid. Like,
No,
learning
I-
Strasbourg is shitty. You have to just sit in front of a class and think of sad things until you can cry.
I'd rather like
It's real terrible.
I don't know. We this is not a podcast about acting, but
But
I feel like
there are better
other
choices to be
choices.
made.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, everybody's got to do what works for
Yeah.
them. I just when I try to do that, it never seems to work.
Yeah.
like
It
because I
works-
don't know how my
but if it-
emotions are
Well,
going to respond.
That's part
to
of
that.
it too. Is that eventually it gets stagnant and you can't use it anymore. So
Yeah.
you have
Think
to
of a
keep
different
having
sad thing.
tragedies
Yeah.
happen to you in order to keep getting those emotions to
Yeah.
come up. That's
Exactly.
why Meisner is better because
Yeah.
it's easier to draw.
I
on
prefer to
things.
just draw upon sleep deprivation, the constant sleep deprivation. I'm like on the verge of tears
Yeah.
all the time.
I'm like one sad commercial about dogs away from crying at all moments.
oh yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Like always.
All you have to do is start playing that Sarah McLachlan song, and I'm done.
Oh my god, dude! Like I could cry right now, just like imagining the Sarah McLachlan song.
We're all just gonna pause for a second,
It's
cry,
like
huddle
puppies.
together.
Come back.
The sad
It
puppies.
takes a lot to get me to cry. Like it's buried deep down.
I
Well,
cry, like,
anyway,
daily.
so
So
so he feels real bad about breaking up with her and pretend, and he gives her the bracelet
He
again.
gives her the
wh-
bracelet.
which is not his bracelet.
No,
Yeah.
it's Jerry's
he gives
bracelet.
their
bracelet.
ticket to safety away to this woman.
the same way he took Jerry's jacket in the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's a dick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can do better, Jerry.
You can.
You can do better.
That's okay.
It's
queen.
like as
You
skeevy
deserve
as
your
Jerry
king.
is.
Totally.
I'm like you need to get out of this relationship. It's not.
Also, can I
Healthy.
just say, like, the mixture of childlikeness with sex is
Yeah.
very
Ugh.
disturbing. With Marilyn, that her persona, and
Yeah.
she lays it on in a couple of scenes.
The naivete.
But that's like very childlike. Like
Yeah.
I'm a child that you want to have sex with is like really. It's
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
but that's the persona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm a thing that I need someone to take care of me and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm also look at my boobs and it's just like it's very upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
men are disgusting. So
Well, in this movie, yes, they are all fucking disgusting.
Oh my god, they're all fucking creeps.
I feel really bad for her.
yeah,
Like this is the first time. I mean, legitimately, for a lot of the movie, I found her to be annoying, and I felt really bad for her in this
Yeah.
scene. All right, so they're trying to make their escape. They go down.
They
They're
don't
dressed
even say
as women.
goodbye as the ladies. They don't even say goodbye to the other ladies in the
Well,
band.
they
but he
can't
calls and breaks up
because
with her.
like they'll be like, oh, where are you going?
Yeah,
And
they
then they'll
gotta
have
go.
to like explain.
Yeah,
shit.
they gotta go.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So they dress up like women to disguise themselves one more time, and they go down the pipes outside the building. They
Which
go
was
down.
just dumb.
Well,
They
yeah,
know they're on the floor right below
also
them.
they probably
Do they?
could have just gotten
Yeah,
on
they
the
said in the
elevator.
elevator,
They
but-
should have just gotten on the
But
elevator.
when they were on the elevator with the mobsters got off at floor number 3, and
Yeah.
then they got off at floor number 4, and they know that the mobsters are in the room directly below them. Like, why did they climb down onto the mobsters' balcony?
so
Doesn't make any sense.
they get discovered by the mobsters, who recognize them.
And
They realize they're
immediately
not ladies,
figure out that they're
which
not
is kind of
ladies,
weird.
which-
But okay, because
Yeah.
that one guy was fully hitting on them.
Yeah,
in
he's like,
the
oh,
elevator.
room 413. I'll come see you later.
I
And
wonder
I'm
if
like,
it's like
men are
the troll thing where it's
disgusting.
like,
Yeah.
you're hot, and then like as soon as you're like, no, please get away from me, they're like, you're a man.
Yeah, basically, it's like the typical Tinder response.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
kidding, you're ugly. Like,
fuck you. So anyway, they figure out they're dudes. They quickly run in somewhere else. Oh, they steal some. I don't know what happened in that other room, but they steal some other men's clothes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wheelchair bound,
a wheelchair bound guy.
Dude,
man
yeah,
in a
like
wheelchair.
you
And a
you-
bellhop.
You sort of saw the blind wheelchair man rolling around in a couple
Yeah, a
other
couple of
scenes.
other
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know they dropped that nugget.
Yeah,
earlier.
he was
Yeah.
there a couple times.
They did.
That was the first time I
They did
noticed him.
drop that nugget. I'm sorry. I don't,
Well, and it's
That's
partly because
film
the bellboy.
terminology,
Well,
or-
it was every
it
time.
makes you just think of poop nuggets.
was-
I'll be real with you.
It was also a way to get the tiny bellboy into all of the scenes too, because he
Yeah.
hits on Josephine every time the little tiny bellboy is around, and he's pushing the guy in the wheelchair around.
yeah.
Anyway, so they change
wheelchair
clothes.
bound blind
Yeah,
man
they
with
they
no
wear.
nurse.
But
they
Jerry
change to the
forgets
clothes.
to put take the heels off.
Well, he can't fit into the little guy's shoes.
You think? I thought
Well,
he just
just
really
go
likes the
barefoot.
heels.
I think he just really likes the heels.
I thought he
you
really
know?
liked the heels. I'm just saying. I thought he
assumed,
really liked the heels.
like
And
like
he
you
runs
can
in
sort
them
of fudge
very well.
clothing sizes, but like shoe sizes.
I just never understood the heels thing in that scene. I was just like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just take your shoes off.
Yeah, it's a plot thing because they have to see the heels.
Just like the earrings from like rushing to the dates.
Yeah.
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 It's a plot thing.
Anyway, they hide under the buffet table in the room where this dinner is happening.
Yeah. So like, yo, we're hiding from these people. Let's just go hide right
A
fucking
cake
next
is
to
being
them, under
prepared. A
them.
giant birthday cake.
A giant
filled
fucking
with a
murder cake.
mobster
With a man
murder
with a gun.
cake. Yeah. He's like, what is he supposed to say when he pops out?
Well, okay, so all the mobsters are in one
The
room
mobster convention.
having a mobster dinner. They're having
Yeah.
their little
a
buffet.
mobster dinner. Sorry.
and they're making a giant cake and they put a guy inside of it
with a machine gun.
with a machine gun and he's supposed to pop out at a certain time.
and kill spats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and his friends.
Yep.
Yes, and his boys.
So,
In the middle of a crowded
which
hotel
I don't know if
in
we
the middle
mentioned
of the
this.
day.
We didn't really. I don't know if we
Yes.
mentioned this, but hearing aids is very upset about Johnny Toothpicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, in fact, so much so that he pulled a toothpick from the scene and had it gold plated. That's something they say
Oh
in
my
the movie.
god.
So anyway, he's upset about it, and so he wants to have these guys
He walks
killed.
around every day and he's like, "This is Tommy Toothpick's toothpick."
Thank you, Tommy. That's a good one. Yeah, I like it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on new
Stock up
male
those
names each time.
I feel like I'm just hearing the same wrong name over and over and over again.
Bronson tooth.
Bronson Toothpick is murder cake.
Trevor Toothpick.
So
It's like next thing you know, you guys are just gonna be like Stanislav Toothpick. It's like we're gonna be so off the reservation
run-
with like
we
your
run out of
fucking
names.
names. This
Stan-
poor guy. He died in a
So,
garage.
let's all have a moment of silence for Stanley Toothpick. Great. Okay.
Right.
So
but-
anyway, so they wheel the cake out. Spats is like, fuck.
yeah,
It's
he
a
knows
fucking
what's
murder
coming.
cake.
Yeah.
He knows.
He
He's like,
knows.
I am.
He's murder
straight up
caked
getting
someone
honestly,
before.
Oh yeah,
Honestly,
for
like,
sure.
I think,
He's
like,
definitely ordered a
mobsters-
murder cake before. Yeah.
Mobsters, like, I think they can't be surprised when they get murdered by
Yeah.
like their own people.
I mean, you're
they like
in-
gotta know what's coming.
you
like
know
in
that's
every
how you're
single
gonna
mobster
die.
movie I've seen, you know, it's like
You're not
where
like-
somebody gets
yeah.
murdered. They're kind of like, I saw this coming.
It's
I'm
like,
not happy
all
about
right,
it, but I
you're-
saw it.
you
coming.
You're
got
not in the
me.
mob for 15 years and then saying to yourself, like, I think I'm going to die in hospice of cancer.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know how you're going to go
yeah.
out.
Especially if you fuck up by killing like Tchaikovsky toothpicks.
I know. When you kill Kenneth Toothpicks, Like, you know that someone's coming after you.
Yes, Kenneth toothpicks.
Molly toothpicks.
Hashtag
That was just
Kenneth
a woman.
toothpicks.
It's just Carol toothpicks
It's like
now.
his sister, Molly toothpicks.
Noodles toothpick.
So, Spats and his crew get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
Like straight up murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With no blood or gunshot wounds.
Yeah,
I love
no,
that
no,
special
they're
effect.
bleeding. They've
No,
definitely got-
but
No,
like
there was-
but not
the
their
shot
faces.
of them getting shot.
yeah.
They're just like,
Yeah, and his death shot is like done in a Montana,
Medium.
like in a medium.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's like a light that flashes on him and
Yeah.
then a gunshot sound, and he's like, and
Yeah.
then, but like nothing happens. And then the scene later, he's like bleeding out of his
he's
chest.
bleeding, and you
Also,
see like the
like,
bullet
none of
holes
their-
behind them.
Their faces aren't.
Well, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be realistic about
Yeah.
this. Anyway, the
I mean, they were at the beginning of the movie. Like, it was like graphic at the beginning
not
of the
their
movie.
faces.
well, anyway, Joe and Jerry are under the table. They do not get shot.
No,
No.
because
Somehow.
Well, I mean, I think.
well,
they're
I think they
pointing
were
the
just
gun-
like aiming
well,
for like like chest.
I guess I don't know.
They weren't-
Yeah.
they weren't
I don't
trying to
know
shoot
how
people's
machine
feet.
guns work.
He also managed to pop out of that cake facing the right direction,
Right?
Which, like, I feel like I would have to pop out of the cake and I'd like spin around
Really?
a bit.
You-
Like,
prepare to
where is
get-
he? I don't see the
prepare
spats.
to
They're
get-
under the table.
Did he
How am I supposed
say
to know which
something
gnarled
when he
face
popped
it
Which
is?
guy is it? Can you guys just point?
Who's supposed to say something?
He
It
screamed,
what did he say?
Hello to my little
was,
friend.
it was
What
like
did he say? Did he say something?
He wasn't
No.
supposed to say anything.
He was supposed to come out
pop
during
on
for
He's a
Jolly Good Fellow.
But I'm saying, did he actually say
No.
I don't
he wasn't
think
supposed
so.
to. He
They-
was
they-
supposed to pop out on that cue line.
to pop a guy off. Is that the thing?
Papa,
Yeah.
Papa.
Yeah.
Pop, 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 pop. So
But, yeah, it doesn't say
they
anything.
Jerry and Joe run off. Detective
In the middle of
Yeah,
the right
like,
after
Yeah, it
someone's
seems-
shot. Like,
yeah,
how
it doesn't
dumb.
seem-
It's
seems
like-
smart. No.
Chill
just
out through the rest of the
wait.
meeting, bros.
Well, they were about to go after them, but Detective No Fucks shows up,
Yes,
Yeah.
Detective No Fucks.
and he's like, "Hey, I noticed you just murdered a bunch of guys. Let's talk about that."
In the middle of the day in this crowded
You
hotel
want to make
ballroom.
a federal case of it? Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do.
I kind
In
of
fact.
do. Yep.
So they run off dressed as men.
Yes.
Yes.
So these guys have only seen them as men. So they
But
sent
still
off some
wearing
guys
high
to get 'em.
heels.
Well, I don't know if they noticed the heels, but they run off, change back into women's clothing.
Yes.
Yes.
And now go down the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
They are really getting in and out of hair and makeup super fast.
I know.
you guys.
Just
I
so
mean,
fast.
it's about as much time as I spend getting ready in the morning, frankly.
Yeah, but I don't look that good.
No.
Yeah, it's like it takes me like 10 minutes to put on a wig.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, they decide that they're going to call up Osgood and have him, and they're going to escape on the yacht.
Yes.
Just as women.
They're like, tell him you want to elope.
Right. But I'm not sure why they do this, but they go downstairs and see the act one more time.
Well, Joe does.
Well, yeah. So
Jerry
so
doesn't.
Jerry's going
Just
to
saying-
Jerry's going to contact Osgood.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems like a bad time to split up, though.
it does.
Yeah. No, they're not
Poor choice.
smart people.
Sugar singing like "I'm through with love" or "I'm done
Yeah,
with love."
she like
Yeah.
the sad like.
I honestly
ballad.
felt like this was her best performance in the
I
movie.
do too.
It was
Yeah.
actually quite strong. I
was
felt
really good.
I felt like this is the kind of work she should have been doing. Like she should have been allowed to tap into all this stuff inside of her
yes,
instead
this
of these
dark sadness.
fluffy bullshit that they kept giving her to do. But it was a really good scene.
Yeah, because
really
you can
was.
see like when she's doing, the fluffy bullshit, it's a struggle for her.
Yeah.
But like,
I was more interested in seeing the expression on Joe's face. He looked touched. He looked like
Yeah.
fuck.
No, yeah,
like,
he
Look what
definitely-
I did. Mm-hmm. And then he kisses her. As
Yeah, he walks up and
a
kisses
dressed
her
as a
in the
woman.
room, and that's very shocking.
Says
for
no,
everyone.
no guy is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
So I guess
his,
that's supposed to.
in his man voice, not in his junior voice, not in his
Yeah.
Josephine voice.
just his
real
in
voice.
his
Joe
Joe
voice.
Right. So
And then
she
she
suddenly
recognizes him by the
puts it all
kiss.
together.
Not the fact that the man that she's been
And then
dating
she-
is just
she's
a
like-
dude in a
she's
wig.
like, Junior and
immediately
Josephine are
goes
the same
back to the
person,
bad
and they're
acting
the
with
same.
Josephine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Truthful acting moment over.
Yes.
And then we go back to being Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not
So-
Marilyn Monroe, but like what the public.
Sugar.
Marilyn Monroe with a capital M.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Joe and Jerry run to the dock to get on the boat where Osgood is waiting for them. Marilyn Monroe
Sugar's on their tail.
Sugar grabs a bike and rides a bike down
Yeah,
a lot of
She's-
stairs.
She's just
Yeah.
like She's like,
I know. I couldn't do that.
Fuck the rest of this. That's like, I'm going with that. I'm going with this, like, this dude who, like, scammed me and fucking
Yeah.
tricked me.
Girl, you got
That's
problems.
And is
always
obviously
how
not a
movies end, though.
millionaire.
Think about Overboard. Like that's how these movies end.
I
It's
feel like-
guys screw over, like manipulate.
I don't
women,
know.
And
I
then
feel
it ends
like-
with women.
Joe makes Kurt Russell look not so bad. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Kurt Russell in that movie.
I mean, like Kurt Russell was way worse what he did in that movie than Joe.
There were like
Yeah.
several layers of more deception here. I feel like he was like pretending to be a whole nother person twice.
yeah, but but also like Kurt Russell made her like do like manual labor.
Yeah, all Marilyn
I
Monroe
don't
had
know.
to do
It's
was like
like
get a little drunk and
ma-
handsy.
somebody tricking me
Yeah, it's true.
into
Just a
doing
handy.
manual labor
Yeah.
versus like somebody tricking me into essentially sexual assault. I would say like I'd be more fine with the manual labor.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too. Well, no, I wouldn't be fine with.
I mean, I wouldn't be
no,
fine
my
with it,
body
but-
wasn't built to move. Like my body was built to lay there and take it. And like, if I didn't have to do much, you know,
Look at Nicole's
All right.
face.
Nicole's like, all right,
Moving on.
Like, I'm like I want to.
I got to eat
make
chicken.
A
I got to drink
meter
So she
for
has
my
fully
concern for Hillary.
accepted that Joe has been scamming her, and in fact, he says on the boat, "Don't come with me. I'm a lousy bum.
Yeah.
I'm that saxophone player you're always trying
Yeah.
to get away from." And she's like, "Okay."
and then
like,
she just
that's
hops
fine.
in the boat.
And I
That's
was like,
fine.
"Oh,
And
God."
then I wrote down this exchange between Osgood and I would like you to do a dramatic
All right,
reading
okay.
of
And
Hillary.
This
Yes.
is referenced. It's in many things. It's like in clips of like greatest moments of film.
Yep.
And this is like what like is most memorable about this movie, in my opinion.
Who do you want me reading?
I'll be Osgood.
Oh, it's good. I'm gonna level with you. We can't get married at all.
Why not?
Well, in first place, I'm not a natural blonde.
Doesn't matter.
I smoke. I smoke all the time.
I don't care.
Well, I have a terrible past. For 3 years now, I've been living with a saxophone player.
I forgive you.
I can never have children.
We can adopt some.
But you don't understand, Osgood. I'm a man.
Well, nobody's perfect.
And scene.
Yeah.
I
that.
love
loved
it.
the ending.
That was
I almost felt like the whole movie was like a big long setup for just that ending.
yeah.
It was like a long walk for a small sip of water, for sure.
It was a refreshing sip of water.
It was real refreshing. It was
well,
a nice
nobody's
camp.
perfect.
It was a
I mean,
nice-
It was a fun walk.
It was-
yeah, it was fun. It was the whole movie was fun, except for
Like-
the parts where Marilyn Monroe made me sad.
Except for the rapey
for
parts,
women,
yeah.
and all the rapey parts.
I
yeah.
mentioned like at the beginning of this, like, you know, this movie didn't really tickle me, but like that last scene between
Oh, yeah.
between Jerry and Osgood, that tickled me.
I felt tickled.
Yeah,
and
Nicole squealed.
It made me feel a little warm and a little happy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, nobody's perfect.
And I
It's
feel like Jack Lemmon's
acceptance.
character was like, yes, acceptance. It was like something I did not
acceptance.
expect from a 1950s
Yeah.
movie.
Absolutely.
And also, I feel like Jerry was like, okay.
I was like, all right.
he's like,
But I
can-
also love the kind of like, not only is it like nobody's perfect, as in like nobody is perfectly for me. It's more like you're a man. Like men aren't perfect. Like men are.
Well, I felt like more like it was like a moment which I don't see very often, and I would not expect seeing this, which is I love you for who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm and so whatever else goes
No,
with you, I
Yeah.
accept
Like I'm
that.
chill with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
And that was so great.
It
Yeah.
was-
so
it was-
refreshing.
You know what his
sweet
Osgood's
ending.
expression. The first time I saw this, and I guess I wasn't paying as much attention last night, but the first time I saw this, his expression seemed to be like when he was like, "Well, no, nobody's perfect." It was like, "Yeah, I knew all along."
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I'm
Yeah.
attracted to you.
it's like I'm.
Yeah.
I still don't care. It's like I still
totally.
dig
He
ya.
seemed like,
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
seem
It
like
did
that.
seem
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
of
I
course
got
you're a
that vibe
dude.
from
Come
him.
on.
I imagine that was very scandalous for 1959.
Oh,
Yeah.
this movie was so scandalous. Another
yeah,
one of
please.
another
Hot
one of
facts.
Aria's fun facts.
Fun facts.
Because
Hot
I'm like
facts.
I'm actually like a little bit of a nerd about movies or whatever.
I love it.
What? No.
I know if you haven't like I mean I totally haven't been like
You haven't
like
been
that at all
dropping
this
hot
entire
facts the
time.
whole time.
The
Girl, you're our
national
official
the-
1950s
back in the
expert.
1950s, there was the National Legion of Decency.
Oh yes, they still have shit like that now.
The Legion of Decency.
Yes,
That sounds
the
counterproductive.
National
It
Legion of
seems like they
It
might
was
have like
a Catholic
pitchforks and shit.
organization.
It was Catholic.
It was
Of
Catholic.
course it was.
Catholic.
Of course it was.
They condemned the film as morally objectionable because it promoted homosexuality, lesbians, not lesbianism, but lesbians, just promoted them.
Just
promoted lesbians.
and
It was just a big ad.
transvestism. So it was just very scandalous.
Transvestism.
You know, here's one thing I really appreciated about the movie, which was, yeah, I know there were a couple of jokes about them being women, but I feel like the joke wasn't, isn't it funny that these men are dressed up as women?
Yeah,
that wasn't the joke.
That wasn't the joke.
It was
Right.
actually like they did a really good job being women, and the joke was more like them not getting caught.
Right.
Yeah.
In the lie.
The joke was
And
not
I
a Mrs.
appreciated
Doubtfire
that.
joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
It was not a Mrs.
appreciated that.
Doubtfire. It
I
was-
Yeah, it
appreciated
was.
that.
It was something that enhanced the story rather
Yeah.
than just the story.
Yeah, they didn't make fun of them as women. They
No.
were
Yes.
like, these women are like,
Right.
they're awesome.
And I believed them.
Yeah.
At times, I forgot
Yeah.
that they were men a
And
little
like
bit.
Osgood's acceptance at the very
Yeah.
end is like another sort of like acceptance of like men who like he's like, hey, if you want to dress as a woman, that's fine. I mean, I still want to be with you. It's like it wasn't,
And
there
even-
wasn't any condemnation of it. You
But
know,
also even the kiss between Joe dressed as Josephine and Marilyn Monroe, like that was cool.
Lesbian.
That was cool too.
Yeah.
It was-
That promotion of lesbians.
that
Yeah, I
promotion
was
of
into it.
lesbians, right there.
You know, I agree. I think that was a really nice moment, and I was surprised because I expected the movie to make a joke about them being dressed as women, and it wasn't
Yes.
that. And I was surprised, pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like because again, like I haven't watched it since I was probably like 15 years old, so it's been like over 10 years, and I was like, I remembered certain things about this movie, in particular the ending because it is one of the most memorable.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hyde.
the cat
Elvis,
groans.
does Elvis want a cookie? Just kidding.
God.
Just kidding.
I'd want a cookie.
He
But
doesn't.
like
He's like,
I
don't know
was
what you're talking
worried. I
about.
was like, oh gosh, how are they gonna treat this? And they just didn't even acknowledge any
Yeah.
like, criticisms of it.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was again I was also just very pleasantly surprised,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, overall.
despite
So, final thoughts. Final thoughts on Some Like It Hot.
all the dudes are creeps.
Fucking creeps.
But I feel like I know that they're creeps. We all know they're creeps. But I loved this movie. Like this is one of the movies that I love. I mean, and,
I really
Sarah picked this one.
oh yeah, I did.
I really enjoyed this movie. I still love it. My feelings on it haven't changed. I'm right there with Sarah. Like, all the men are creeps, but it's not something I didn't know about the world that we live
And
in.
it wasn't as bad as like
And-
the pajama game. It
Right.
was creeps,
and
but
it was an acknowledgement
it was meant
of
to be
the
like,
creepiness.
look how creepy men are. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was totally comfortable with the way they treated it.
No.
But it wasn't like in Pajama Game where it was just like, this is fucking normal, everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not treated as normal, the creepiness, which was what I appreciated about the movie. I thought this was rather ahead of its time, to be honest,
Yeah.
with that
I would agree.
commentary, at
Yeah.
least in that aspect of it. Like, not obviously not the
It
actual
was-
women's roles in the
Yeah,
film.
not
but,
Marilyn
Yeah.
Monroe's role. no.
the treatment of women in the movie I thought was very much ahead of its time in certain ways.
And men dressing
Yeah,
as
like,
women. I would say men dressing as women
mildly.
specifically.
Yeah.
Actually, we let my 6-year-old watch some of it with us because she just wasn't really going to bed. And honestly, the only times I felt really, because I was like, oh, it's a 50s movie. Like, it's going to be totally acceptable
It's
for
gonna be so
kids.
tame.
But she was watching it at the early beginning where Marilyn Monroe was like drinking and like popping out of her dress
Did you
and
watch
like being
the
super
violent mob
objectified.
hit?
No.
Okay.
But I was just like, ugh. And there was like this whole scene where she's talking about like, all I want to do is marry a millionaire, and I was like, oh god, like, I didn't know if I'm sure Charlotte wasn't like fully processing like all of the complexities of this, but maybe she is. I don't know. She's a smart cookie, but
She is.
Like, we're watching the movie, and I was like, oh, maybe this was actually a really bad idea. And I turned to her and I was like, hey, so in the 1950s, like, values were different, and she was like, what are values? And I was like, I'm just putting it out there.
I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
All right, welcome to Nervous Breakdowns. This is the part of the show where ordinarily we read bad casting breakdowns. Today we're going to do something a little different. Recently, Sarah posted a Tumblr. Is it a Tumblr page? Mm-hmm. Recently, Sarah posted a Tumblr page. It's called Shit People Say to Women Directors.
Shit people say to women directors, yes. Yeah. And other women in film.
Right. So we're just gonna shall we all take one?
Sure.
All right. So this is a collection of things, real things that have been said to women who work on films in the film industry. Submitted by, probably anonymously, I'm guessing. Submitted by women in the actual women in the film industry.
Let me just start with one. I was chatting with a young male actor in the studio lot where my production office was based. After talking about the show he was working on, he inquired if I was an assistant on my film and said, "Could you introduce me to the producer of your movie? I'd love to meet him." I was the producer.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds like that story about somebody who wanted mansplaining explained to them what is that, and so he asked some women, and while the women were explaining to him what mansplaining were,
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
a man interjected and mansplained what mansplaining was.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn. Okay, so I sat down in a meeting with a male comedy writer with the hopes of learning more about the industry. Immediately he says, "You don't have the face of someone who wants to write comedy."
I don't even know what that means.
What does that
even
face mean?
What's the face of someone
What
who
is
wants
the
to write
face?
comedy?
What?
You can see my Instagram at Hillary R. Heath.
It's the face of somebody who's broke
yeah,
and lacks proper nutrition.
and leaves their groceries on the floor and takes them out as needed.
Like even perishables?
I have had a bag of onions on my floor for a couple months. I took them out today.
Find us a good one. Find Hillary a good one, Sarah. Or we can look through it, but you've got them already up there.
I could tell my own stories.
Oh, God. I have some stories.
Okay. I was working as one of 2 cinematographers on a music video. Our male director didn't seem to understand that we were collaborating. He would only discuss the shots with my male partner, completely disregarded my opinions, and would even flat out ignore me. At one point, he handed me the clapper and said, "You're clapper loading." The credits had to end up being fixed because I wasn't credited as cinematographer.
Of course. That's fucking bullshit.
Oh,
Oh my God. I would
makes me so
burn that
enraged.
person down.
But you have to smile and say thanks for the job.
Yeah.
Or you don't get another job.
Exactly.
That's what sucks about it.
I want to burn so many people. Just light them on fire.
Whoa. That's
I've got a list
quite a lot.
in my head.
So you're like Arya's. Well, you don't
Arya
watch
has
Game
a-
of Thrones, do you?
I do. I
Okay.
watched when I was
So
on
you,
lies in
maternity
bed.
leave.
Okay,
with-
so
with
so
my
every night
son.
before you go to bed, you name off all the people you want to burn for their transgressions.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Cersei, the Hound. Those are just thrown in there.
All right. I am a film student, and I was working in the role of producer on a documentary project. We needed a photographer and found a lovely woman who also happened to have a shaved head. The cinematographer turns to her and says, "We will get you a wig." He hadn't discussed this with me when I tried to speak, and when I tried to speak, he would talk over me. I told her not to worry about it on the way back, and on the way back to set informed him we wouldn't be using the wig. He responded, "But she needs to be prettier. We need something."
Now, is she a photographer in the document, or is she?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh my God. What?
No.
Here's can I read this one real quick? It's a real short one. It says, "My co-producer told me that I should go to the equipment rental place with a very short skirt and low cleavage to get a better deal. I was the director."
Oh my God.
So if you are interested in reading more depressing shit like this, shit people say to women directors.tumblr.com, where we can all revel in the rampant sexism that
Where if you
exists
ever
in the film industry.
want to just
Yay.
torture yourself with groans for half an hour.
Well, I feel like there's a certain amount of commiserating as well. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think part of the nice thing about people talking about this is that I think a lot of women have private experiences where you're like, is that really what I think it was? Or maybe it's
And it
just
gives
this
it
one
a voice.
person and you don't want to tell anybody. But then when you hear about other people have had the same experience, you realize like, I'm not alone and I'm not crazy and this shit is
I'm not the
uncool.
problem. They're
Yeah.
the problem.
This shit is fucking unacceptable. And
Yeah.
like then together people can
Yeah,
try to
it's kinda
change
like-
things and make the work environment more
Yeah.
equitable. Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about what we're up to and what our guests are up to so you can find out all the magical things that we're putting out there in the world. Aria, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I would love to plug this little ditty I worked on once upon a time with a bunch of lovely ladies called PYT's Web Show.
PYT's Web Show.
Give that a gander with your eyeballs over and over and over
It's a great
again.
show. Aria's really funny in it.
She's
And,
so funny. My muse.
And give us some more money so we can do more stuff like that, please.
Yeah,
And
indeed.
yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I sporadically tweet. I'm trying to get better at social media. I'm trying to act my age.
You're doing better. You like my tweets every now and then.
I do like your tweets,
And I always love that feeling.
Yeah, I know.
feels
it's-
good. It
It's
feels
like
good to be
I'm really
accepted
bad at
on-
I'm
on
really bad at
Twitter.
responding on social media, but I do like do it after a
What
week.
is your name?
I was about to get to that. I'm Aria.Mara, ARIA.Mara, MARRA. Just do it.
Just do it.
That
And you
was a
can
weird
see-
end to that.
And you can see PYT's web show on Critical Crop Top's
Yes.
Vimeo channel.
Yes, thank you.
The entire first season.
Yes. Very funny.
Sarah.
You can still find Dick Pic Professional on our Vimeo channel, and if you don't know what it is, then
You're missing out.
I'm sorry
Just
for you.
You know what? Get some popcorn. Get a bottle of I read an article today that Aldi's rosé.
What wine pairs
$5
well with dicks,
rosé.
though?
Yeah.
Get a wine that
A
pairs well with
$5
dicks.
rosé.
I think
that's
a $5
apparently one of
rosé definitely pairs well with dicks.
Yeah, you can get it at Aldi's. It's apparently one of the best in the world.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the
Yes.
best wines in the world, and one of the best $5 wines in the world.
And
Best
start
rosés,
and just stream the Critical Crop Top Vimeo channel to your TV all night,
Just do it
and
all
just
night.
and
All
just
of it.
and just watch it all. Enjoy yourself.
$5
PYT's
rosé
web show,
actually
Dick
does.
Pic Professional.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Vimeo.com / Critical Crop Top.
Yep, you're right.
Look, I've got it bookmarked. Okay, I don't.
I don't remember things. I bookmark them.
Okay, great. Hillary, what would you like to plug?
Well, we have a little thing that we like to call the Critical Crop Top Live Sketch Show coming up soon.
Summer of Sketch.
Summer of Sketch.
Yeah, this year's the Summer of Sketch. We've got 3 shows coming up. So our first one is actually going to be this month. It's going to be June 23rd and 25th at the Highland Inn Ballroom Lounge. There's plenty of seating, a bar, all the fun things you want out of a good night out. And you can find ticket information from that on the Critical Crop Top Facebook page. So you can just go to facebook.com/Critical Crop Top. It'll pop up there and it'll probably be our pinned post right there at the top of the page.
Indeed.
And you can click that you're going to the event to let all of your friends know
So they
and
can be
buy some tickets.
And you can see Aria in it.
Yeah,
And
Aria's
Sarah
very,
in it.
very
and
pregnant.
Hillary and myself.
Aria.
A pregnant comedian, which
Yes,
is
I promise.
the best kind of comedian.
If you
she might
if you
even
pay-
have the baby during the show.
Yeah,
you don't
I-
know. We don't know.
like
We don't know.
we only
you
charge $10.
you'll only know if you go there.
$10 to see a live
And watch
birth
us.
and comedy, you guys.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
To see a bunch of people run around screaming because they don't know how to birth a baby, even though several of them have had children.
And me screaming, I'm like, none of y'all have strong enough drugs for this shit.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. If that doesn't entice you,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what
don't
it
know
will.
will. But yeah, the Critical Crop
No
Top
jokes
Live
about
Sketch
ham.
Show. The first
There
one
will-
is June
no ham
23rd and
jokes.
25th.
No ham jokes.
No ham
this time.
jokes. We promise.
Yeah, we promise
Say
we
it's
won't scar you for life this
Sans
time.
ham jokes. Speaking of the Summer of Sketch, we are 2 days away from the last day of our crowdfunding campaign. Thank you to everyone who's donated and shared the video. We are trying to raise money to perform these sketch shows over the summer.
Yeah, and
Raising-
pay awesome people like Aria.
pay people like Aria. We're paying our performers, paying technical crew, paying for the venue rental.
Props and costumes.
All the wacky props and costumes. So please consider donating. We're at the very end of our campaign. We really need your support. So just visit the Critical Crop Top website, criticalcroptop.com, and click the donate tab, which will take you to our page with all the required information. click the donate to this project button. It'll take you right to where you can do all the donating. It's tax deductible.
Yeah, that's the best part.
You get cool prizes,
Mm-hmm.
and you will be helping women's voices in comedy.
Yeah.
Donate for a dildo in a production, and you get to deduct
You-
it on your
Yeah.
taxes.
You could pay for our dildos.
You could pay for the dildos we use in our show.
Yes. Not the ones we use personally. Don't worry.
We're not
No, just the ones in the
we're
show.
Guaranteeing that we will use the dildos in the show.
only
For comedy.
for
comedy.
comedy.
Oh, yes, yes.
For comedy.
Specific-
specifically
comedy
for
only.
comedy.
comedy.
Not that
on
kind of show.
ourselves. I'm talking about
Yeah.
no.
You gotta pay
Not
more
in
than
any
that.
videos of anyone showering.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. We
This
charge
has
more
gotten
for
real
that.
weird, you guys.
That's separate.
Super weird.
It's a separate charge.
So
Well, you invited me
if-
on this show, so
if,
it's all your fault.
If you're still listening and are feeling comfortable with the things that we're saying, please consider donating. Thank you for your support, and we can't do it without the support of the community. So please think about it, and we love you. Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. We've had a great time talking about Some Like It Hot with you. Aria, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having me.
Thank you for all your facts and your knowledge of Hollywood
fun
history.
facts.
I love all the fun facts. Thank you.
facts Yes. hilarious.
It's been really fun having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was been really fun.
I love hanging out with you.
No.
You're so funny.
Oh, I hate when attention's on me. Move on.
Okay. Moving on. Moving on. You can subscribe to this podcast, Feminine Mistake Podcast, on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you give us a review or a rating, it helps us kind of to rise to the top of the podcast list, and new listeners can find us. So if you've got a second, it would be great. if you
And
could do
tell a
that.
friend.
And tell a friend.
And if you're
Tell a
not
friend.
comfortable subscribing yourself, just come meet any one of us, and we will take your phone and subscribe you
Or-
for us.
or
I'll tell
take
you
your
that I'm giving you my
friend's
phone
phone.
number, and
Yeah.
let's do
take
it.
your friend's phone, subscribe to us.
yeah.
They will think it's a weird invasion of their privacy at first, but then they will thank you later.
Yeah, exactly.
They really will.
And if you've got a nervous breakdown, if you've got a bad casting breakdown you'd like for us to read on the show, you can send that or any other correspondence to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.